What's going on, guys? Jeff here for Mad Hatter's Reef, and today we got a brand new video for you. We're going to be taking a look at the top 10 herbivores for your reef tank. These are going to be all reef tank or reef tank with caution safe saltwater fish. And if you're new to the channel, this is where I talk about everything reef tank related. So if you love reef tanks like I do, make sure you hit that subscribe button and the bell so you can be notified every time that I upload a new video, because I do it every single week. Now this week we're going to be taking a look at the top 10 herbivores for your saltwater aquarium / reef tank, and that came to us suggested by Blind Shootist, which they asked for us to do a top 10 on this very subject. And that's what we're going to do in today's video. Now anytime that you're talking about saltwater fish, it's incredibly important to make sure that you talk about doing your research prior to adding them to your reef tank, because the worst possible thing that you could do is be at your local fish store and see some fish that you think is cool and buy it and bring it home and throw it into your tank and have not done any research at all, because there's a good chance that something could go horribly wrong. You don't know what that fish eats. You don't know how that fish is going to interact with the fish that you already have. It could just be an extremely bad situation, and doing a little bit of research will help you avoid making that mistake. Coming in at number 10 on our top 10 saltwater fish that eat herbs is the blue-spotted rabbitfish. Now, as far as price point goes on this guy, it's a little on the higher end. So anywhere from $75 to $125, depending on what size and where you're picking this fish up. Interesting in its coloration. It looks like a foxface rabbitfish, just without the fox face. A little bit more rabbitfish. They are moderate care level, peaceful in their temperament. They are venomous, so you need to make sure that you handle these fish with care. You don't want to just be going in there and grabbing them. Make sure that you take your time and do it right. They are herbivores in their diet and are reef safe with caution. They can nip a little bit too much here and there, so that's something that you need to take into consideration. They grow upwards of 8 inches and require a minimum tank size of 120 gallons. Check them out, the blue-spotted rabbitfish. Coming in at number 9 on our top 10 herbivore saltwater fish is the starry blenny. Now this guy, as far as price point goes, moderately priced. You can typically find them anywhere from $20 to $30, depending on their size. They are incredibly beautiful, even though that the colors of this fish are kind of natural and it's like browns and tans and whites. It is a stunning fish if you've ever seen one of these in person. And what I love about blennies is they are a herbivore that you can get into a smaller tank. So if you have a tank that's under 125 gallons, like a lot of the larger fish that we're going to talk about on this top 10, but you can't fit one of those into a smaller aquarium, blennies are definitely where it's at. These guys are easy to care for, have a peaceful temperament. Herbivores in their diet are considered reef safe, grow upwards of 5.5 inches, and require a minimum tank size of 30 gallons. Coming in at number 8 on our top 10, we have the blonde Naso Tang. This is probably one of my dream fish and hope to have one someday. Now, as far as price point goes on these guys, they're anywhere from $150 on up. Really depends on where they're coming from and their size. Definitely a gorgeous fish. They are gray with their main body. They have yellow fins, both on the bottom and the top. That's kind of where the blonde part comes into play, and definitely some interesting facial colorations as well. Now, as far as care level goes, these guys are moderate care level, semi-aggressive like most tangs are. Herbivores are considered reef safe. These guys are a little bit on the larger side. They can grow upwards of 1.5 feet and require a minimum tank size of 180 gallons. One of the most beautiful saltwater fish out there, the blonde Naso Tang. Coming in at number 7 on our top 10 is the sailfin blenny. Now this guy, also another blenny that is dull in its colors, but definitely stunning in its appearance. Definitely a gorgeous fish, and if you ever get the chance to have one or see one in person, I definitely recommend that you do that. As far as price point goes on these guys, they're anywhere from $14 to $50, and that really depends on the size and where you're picking them up. As far as care level goes, these guys are moderate / easy to care for, peaceful in their temperament, herbivores in their diet. That's why they're on this top 10. They are considered reef safe, grow upwards of 5 inches, and require a minimum tank size of 30 gallons. An absolute beautiful little algae eating machine, the sailfin blenny. Coming in at number 6 on our top 10 herbivore saltwater fish is the one spot foxface. Now, this is the OG as far as I'm concerned when it comes to foxfaces. They are incredibly interesting, very timid saltwater fish. So that's something that you need to take in consideration, and they're going to definitely go to work as far as getting algae out of your tank. Now, as far as price point, they've been kind of on the higher end of the spectrum as far as price goes. You can typically find these guys anywhere from $75 to $100, and typically you're going to see these guys about the same size almost every single time. I think that has a lot to do with the fact that they are a wild-caught saltwater fish, and there's a lot of regulations in the areas in which they are caught. So that's why you typically see that 5 to 6 inch foxface just about everywhere you go. Now, as far as care level goes, these guys are moderate care level, peaceful temperament, have a herbivore-based diet. They are reef safe with caution. They are known little nippers. They get a little out of hand every now and again. They can grow upwards of 8 inches, and they are venomous. So that's something, again, anytime that you're dealing with a foxface, rabbitfish type deal, they do have the venoms. So you need to handle them with care, and they require a minimum tank size of 70 gallons. So if you're looking for that Tang style saltwater fish, you don't really have a larger aquarium, the foxface rabbitfish might be a good option for you. Check it out. One of the most beautiful foxface rabbitfishes out there, the one spot. Coming in at number 5 on our top 10, the blue Tang. Now, probably one of the most iconic saltwater fish out there, thanks to the movie Finding Nemo / Finding Dory. Definitely beautiful in its appearance. Has such a beautiful blue coloration, and the black lines and yellow, just great looking saltwater fish. Now, as far as price point goes, you typically can find these guys anywhere from like $60 on up, and that really depends on where they're coming from and the form of collection, because this is now a successfully captive bred saltwater fish. But there is still a good amount of wild collection going on. So if you're finding larger blue hippo tangs, typically those are your wild caughts, and then the smaller ones are probably your captive bred. And any chance that you get to buy a captive bred saltwater fish, I definitely recommend that you go that route because they're more adapted to aquarium life. Now, these guys are moderate care level. They're semi-aggressive in their temperament. Herbivores, they are considered reef safe, grow upwards of a foot, and require a minimum tank size of 180 gallons. Coming in at number 4 on our top 10, the magnificent Mr. Foxface. This is probably one of the most gorgeous foxface rabbit fishes out there. Definitely a looker. As far as price point goes, typically anywhere from $80 to $120, really. Depends on the size. These guys are moderate care level, peaceful in their temperament, herbivores, reef safe with caution. Like most of your foxface rabbit fishes, they're going to nip here and there. So make sure you do your testing prior to adding them directly to your reef tank. They grow upwards of 9 inches and will require a minimum tank size of 125 gallons. Coming in at number 3 on our top 10 is the purple Tang. Now, this guy is probably one of the most beautiful tangs, even saltwater fish in the hobby. The pinstriping, the colors, phenomenal. Now, as far as price point goes, they're anywhere from $150 all the way up, depending on their size and where they're coming from. They are moderate care level saltwater fish. They're semi-aggressive like most tangs are. And the rule of thumb with tangs, and you want to put multiples in a tank, it's typically best to either add them all at the same time or look for different body styles. That's definitely going to help you out quite a bit. There's some really good content out there as far as YouTubers that have put out some stocking tips when it comes to tangs. It's not a fish that you want to add one at a time. They are herbivores. They are considered reef safe, grow upwards of 10 inches, and require a minimum tank size of 125 gallons. Coming in at number 2 on our top 10 is the tail spot blenny. Now, a lot of you are probably like, why is this fish on at number 2? I'm going to tell you why. I've had one. He's absolutely beautiful, and he chewy chomps the herbs to a degree that I have not seen any other saltwater fish ever do. Best of all, you can put them into a smaller aquarium. So if you're looking for a fish that's going to work for you, check out the tail spot blenny. Now, as far as price point goes, these guys are typically anywhere from $20 to $30, depending on where you're picking them up. Not the most colorful saltwater fish, definitely a lot of personality. The males can kind of develop a blue hue in the head, which is pretty interesting, especially if you get one of those very colorful males. They are easy to care for, have a peaceful temperament. Herbivores are the diets that they prefer. They are considered reef safe, grow upwards of 2.5 inches, and require a minimum tank size of, get this, 10 gallons. Coming in at number 1 on our top 10 is the Gem Tang. This guy packs a wallop when it comes to price point, but all that aside, one of the most beautiful saltwater fish in the game. He is moderate care level, semi-aggressive in his temperament. Herbivores is what he eats. He loves the reefs and grows upwards of 9 inches and requires a minimum tank size of 180 gallons. All right, folks, that's going to do it for this one. If you enjoyed it, hit the thumbs up. If you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button. And if you want to learn more about saltwater fish, check this video out. I will see you over there.